Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of Musical People and Journey's new rock album review show. And welcome to my crew, Paul, Trish and Dave. Welcome, guys. Welcome back.
Hey.
Woohoo. Paul, she's stealing your thunder. She said Borada. I mean... Anyway,
it's pronounced now.
It's pronounced. It's afternoon now. You're right. Oh, that's mean. That's mean. Give her the
good try. Good try, Trish.
Hey, if you're new to the show, thanks for tuning in. We are super excited this month because one of our albums reviews nearly hit 1,000. We're very, very close. So check out our Love Bites vs. Gospel. 947 is creeping up. Please go and like and subscribe if you like what you hear. Also on a sad note, commiserations or bereavement to Ian, who can't join us today. Our thoughts go with you and your family, and particularly your partner Claire. So, right, okay, what have we got today's show? What battle of the bands have we got today? We have Elysion with Bring Out Your Dead versus Transworld Identity and Seven Worlds. So this is how it's going to go. We're going to review both albums and rate them out of 5, and see which one we would buy. However, also overall, will they get into our Hall of Fame? If they scored more than 20, they're going to get to our Hall of Fame, or maybe even get into our Album of the Year show as well. But Hall of Fame is the golden ticket, and there's some great stuff happening at the minute. So will these guys join them? Let's find out, shall we? Who have we got today? So let's crack on then. Let's start with Elysion, and I'm going to be saying words that I don't think I've spoken before. Okay, so because who are Elysion? Well, let me tell you, they are a Greek. I don't think we've had a Greek band before. A Greek goth metal band from Athens in Greece, formed in 2006. The band members are Christiana... Oh, this is a difficult one. Hatzimihali, lead vocals. Johnny Zero, we can go with Johnny Zero. Guitar. AR, bass guitarist, like that. Nid, guitar. And Leitzman, drums. The band released their debut studio album, Silent Scream, on the 18th of December 2009 on Massacre Records. It was produced and mixed by Mark Adrian and was mastered by Ted Jansen. The album was met with mostly average to positive reviews. For Metal Online gave the album a high rating, stating that the songs on Silent Scream were so unrelenting and infectious I had a hard time finding any fault at all. The sound and production is excellent and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that doesn't really tell us. It tells about previous albums and not about this particular album. And the album, of course, is Bring Out Your Dead. Now, talking about Bring Out Your Dead, let's start with Dave, of course, because obviously, you know, he's got his red background and he looks like he's been risen from the depths of hell. Elysion,
I'm a bit harsh. Very harsh.
Sometimes the truth hurts, Dave. Sometimes you can't just talk the truth, haven't you? You know. So, Elysion, have you heard of these guys before? And
I had.
What did you think of Bring Out Your Dead? You had heard of them, did you say?
Oh no, I hadn't.
No.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not really a fan of sort of goth metal. But I did quite enjoy this. There's some really cool metal riffs. She's got, really strong voice. I did find it a bit samey as the album went on. Does drop off somewhat, but again, it's fairly short, so it's short. It's effective. It does what it does. There's not really too long that it sort of outstays its welcome. But I mean, yeah, it's something that I would definitely listen to again.
Would you say it was goth metal though? I particularly wouldn't say it was goth metal.
I can see where they're coming from with that. Again, I probably wouldn't have. That wouldn't have been my first thought, but now you say it, I can kind of see where they're coming from.
I don't think it's personally. I wouldn't relate it to goth metal as slightest.
I can see where they're coming from with that. As I say, it's in that sort of range, but again, it's also generic enough that if you're a fan of metal, I think you'd quite enjoy it anyway.
Definitely, Paul.
Yeah, Greek band Elysion have called themselves a gothic symphonic metal band in the past, and have, in my opinion, been cruelly labelled as an effervescence wannabe. For the Bring Out Your Dead album, the band has changed to a more melodic metal sound and have produced a slick selection of songs. The tracks on the album are not groundbreaking, but that doesn't mean that it isn't any good. Far from it. There have been a few albums for me that I have continuously listened to over a month more than Bring Out Your Dead. Christina, I can't pronounce her name. Surname had some. No, I'm embarrassing myself.
We'll go with Christiana.
Yeah, Christiana has a husky but commanding voice, and she is in perfect empathy with the song she sings. I've had the album on continuous loop every time I've listened to it. So yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed this album.
Trish.
Okay, so this album opens full on with Blink of an Eye, with clear singing mixed with operatic style, followed by Crossing Over, which has a catchy chorus. The album is nicely rounded with 10 songs that punches hard with elements of symphonic, gothic styles of metal thrown in. Her voice is gorgeous. This album is an infectious metal album with plenty of style that is just pure music to my ears.
Yeah, I'm definitely, as the years have gone by, in terms of finding my sweet spot, which is forever changing, as you know, but I definitely love that symphonic and that symphonic tone. And one of the things about this was it's not a symphonic power metal album, but it was a symphonic metal album, and it combines beautiful, absolutely beautiful album. Buried Alive this time, Raid the Universe. Her voice was gorgeous. The album was melodic. It was infectious. It was a bit like a drug, a bit like Paul. I wanted to, every time I listened to a new album, which and obviously this month as you got a review, there was some raw crackers on there. This was my go back to album. I really want to listen to that again. I've got I want to have a break from listening to new stuff. I'm going to go back to this album again, and I think very similar to one of our top rated albums of the month year so far, which was Beyond the Black. I see some similarities there to this album. I thought I loved it. I loved it. I kept coming back to it. I wanted to listen to it again and again. And that for me, 3 of those songs in my list. And if you're hitting 3, this has got to be the rest of the album. And the sign of a good album is in its variation, but more importantly, that all the songs are strong. All the songs. You want to listen to every single track, and you don't have a problem if a track comes on. You'll listen to it, and it certainly hit my sweet spot on that, and that's good as well. I thought this was a dynamite of an album. Absolutely loved it. So it was really good. So.
You talking about goth metal, and whether you say class is goth metal, symphonic metal. That's kind of what I was trying to. I couldn't picture the word, but that's kind of that's where I would place it more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that symphonic metal kind of brings in that those sort of power metal fans as well as kind of heavy metal fans, and it balances out quite nice. And there's definitely a growing trend for that as well. One of our album of the last year, which was Visions of Atlantis. We saw a video of them live in a show in Germany, and they had a 40-piece symphonic orchestra with them, and oh my god, it was just mind-blowing. Okay, so really positive review here. Positivity oozing. Will that positivity filter over to Transworld Identity and their album 7 Worlds? Are we going to add another world to Transworld Identity? Who are they? Transworld Identity, Frontiers. Well, there's very little because this is a debut. This is a debut album, and Frontiers Music pleased to announce the upcoming release of debut 7 albums from a new Finnish stroke English rock band featuring vocalist Mila Bossa, guitarist Mika. We call him Mika. Keyboard Dua, we're just going to call him Dua. Bassist Kaspari, we're going to keep with Kaspari. Drummer Laku, we're going to keep with Laku. Music draws inspiration from core foundations of hard rock music, showcasing feel-good factor. A little bit about Mika Bossa then. She's a frontwoman of hard rock cover bands, wanted to take a new direction with a musical career by singing original songs and subsequently formed Transworld Identity. To help her fulfill this musical vision, she was joined by stellar cast of bandmates, drummer Luca and his showman behind the kit, who has spent time with Hanoi Rocks and vocalist Michael Monroe's solo band, and since 2008. And we could go on about all the other members of the band, but you kind of get the gist in terms of who they are and where they come from. So, Paul, let's start with you with Transworld Identity. Did you want to go to any of those 7 worlds, Paul? You're on mute, brother. You're on mute.
I said there were 7 worlds. Yeah, so you've got to give it to her that, she was, a singer of a cover band, and she decided she wanted to do her own songs and materials. And basically, she was the one who formed a Transworld Identity, but it's something that frontier music tend to do anyway. They have a huge stable of musicians and singers and seem to lump them all together. So she's in the right hands in that respect. So they produced an AOR melodic rock, hard rock debut album, and they've created some great music. But and it's a shame this month they've come up against Elysion. Although I enjoyed the album, I also found it slightly frustrating. So Miss Miller has a great voice, but it feels restrained. I felt she was half singing, half talking the songs as if she was protecting her voice. I was waiting for that more powerful vocal rendition to erupt on some of the tracks. It could have been the production, but I felt there was a Battle Beast maiden just waiting to burst through.
Trish, then, Transworld Identity, 7 worlds. Did you want to hop on your space shuttle and travel those 7 worlds?
Right. This face says it all. I'm here to provide my review, and that's what I'll do. This album has all the essential elements and formulas for a classic rock album for me personally. Strong song melodies, solid rhythm and grooves, catchy drums and guitars. The vocalist sings strong and clean. She's a classic rock singer as opposed to operatic vocalists in symphonic metal bands. I love the energetic rockers like I'm Such a Liar, part Maroon, part Indigo, Living on the Run, and Never Lost My Faith. For a debut album, this is as solid as it gets. It's enjoyable and entertaining listen. You don't need to think of Chris riding a panther with the wind in his hair. Rock chick Trish has thighs of steel and can ride 7 worlds of them as they hit her sweet spot. Bloody awesome, and I can't wait for more worlds to be taken on with this band.
Ooh. Right, swiftly moving on. Dave, then. 7 worlds, spiritually, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
This is the one I was most looking forward to talking about because I just found it really interesting. I flip-flopped between whether I enjoyed this or whether I didn't, for several different reasons. I really enjoyed the instrumentally. I love the guitars. Some of the guitar work in there is amazing. There's a harmonic bit that the guy does at the end on the last track in the intro, which just hits the sweet spot for me. The interesting thing was the vocals, though. Because compared to some of the female artists that we've reviewed on here, her voice doesn't stand up in comparison to me. And I found myself that was taken away from some of the enjoyment. But then I was like, there's plenty of male vocalists that we listen to that are more average at best. And that doesn't count against them, or we don't count against them for that. So I was like, why am I counting against her for the fact that her voice isn't as powerful as, well, if you compare it with the previous album, the Elysion album, the voices just don't compare. So I tried to get past that, but I think potentially what my biggest issue was the lyrics. I found them at times they're very simplistic. There were certain lines in there that it's just like, I think you need to work a little bit on the lyrics and a little bit on the songwriting, but it was solid. It really was. And for a debut album, it's as good as you're going to get without sort of coming out with, the likes of Appetite for Destruction, some debut albums which are just mind-blowing, But as far as this goes, it puts them on the right path. And I think going forward, definitely some big things for them if they can keep up this quality and just keep building on it from there. Yeah, really solid.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a combination there as to why I'm with Paul, and I'm going. I listen to the album, and again, I'm going like, but she talks, and then she doesn't really talk, but sometimes she doesn't actually sing those lyrics, and I think it might be a problem. It's very interesting what you said. Maybe it was the lyrics that kind of maybe stuttered it or didn't allow her to, because there are some moments where her voice does go in, and we said it's interesting what you said about Battle Beast, Paul, because subsequently we found out that she's good mates with the guys at Battle Beast, so, and they know them well, and it was very interesting that there's like, yeah, you can't compare them to some of the female vocals we've heard with Beyond the Back and Elysion, and it's different, but there were moments where you go, yeah. And you do, and there are moments where you wince, not because the vocal is bad, but because it doesn't fit with everything that's going. There's a bit of a mishmash, and sometimes those jigsaw puzzles doesn't fit. But luckily for her, musically, it carries her through those moments where you go, and it's forgivable because it is a debut album, and there is enough in there for as a debut album to go, yeah, that she could go on and do some really great things, and just need to take a look back and just listen to the album again. And you've got to. It's in the minutiae as well, you know. It's in the finer details that you want to have a look at, and so definitely need to improve in the lyricism. Definitely need to improve in a consistent vocalism, but obviously with a mind to keep variation in there. But yeah, just have a listen back, and there are moments where you go, oh, it doesn't quite fit. But overall, it was an enjoyable album. I did enjoy it, and it was just, but I didn't. It wouldn't be. I didn't. There wasn't any. Again, similar to when we reviewed one of the albums, Seventh Crystal. There wasn't a standout track here for me. That none of these tracks have hit my cool playlist, and I don't know why that is, but it was an album that I enjoyed for certain. But anyway, let's crack on with the scores then, shall we? So we'll leave you into last this time. So we'll start with you then, Dave. Let's get your score for Elysion.
3.5.
3.5 is pretty solid from Dave. And Transworld Identity.
3.5.
3.5. And if you only had £15 to spend, what were you going to buy?
Oh, I'd have to buy the Transworld Identity. It's more my sort of thing.
Okay, cool, lovely. Right, and okay, Paul, Elysion.
Well, you don't hear this often, but it's a 5.
It's a 5 from Paul. No! Oh my God! Not since the hollow days of Daughtry have we heard the words 5 uttered from the big man's voice. 5.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a golden ticket from me.
Wow. That is a wow. It's only the second time in 200 album reviews. Well, he haven't done 200, but in all his album reviews that he's given a 5 special album. And Transworld Identity, Paul.
It's still a great music, so it's a 3.5.
3.5. Okay, Trish, Elysion.
5.
5! Oh my God, everybody! Oh my God! And Transworld Identity.
5.
What a shocker! Oh, Trish's third 5 of the month, and what a battle, Trish. You only have £15 to spend. What are we going to buy?
I'm going to buy Transworld Identity.
Ooh, it's 2
Buy a subscription to a streaming service so you can listen to both of them.
I know, right? I know. Okay, I'm going to give my votes next. We'll leave Ian's to last. I give Elysion a 5. What a goddamn amazing album. I give Seven Worlds Trans Identity a 3.5. Oh, 2 apiece. 2 apiece. But is one of them headed towards our Hall of Fame? For sure. Or it could be both. It could be both, everybody. It could be both. I'll tell you for why it could be both. Currently, Elysion are on 18.5.
He's going to have to go some to miss the Hall of Fame.
He's going to have to, yeah, he is going to have to hate it. Transworld is on 7, 12. It's on 15.5. So if Ian gives at least a 4.5 for that, it gets into a Hall of Fame. If he gives at least a 1.5, it goes into our Hall of Fame. So both albums can get into our Hall of Fame. However, if Ian gives Elysion a 5, it will be our highest ever rating for
This is
an
the bit you tell us.
album.
So this is the bit you tell us he hated both of them.
I can reveal.
This is Ian we're talking about.
I can reveal that one of them did get a 4.5. So if it's Elysion, it ties. If it's Transworld Identity, at least we know Transworld Identity get into the Hall of Fame. He gave a 4.5. It's like end of the year album review show. Anyway, he's excited. He gave Transworld Identity a 4.5. He gave them a 4.5, and they only just, but they are into our Hall of Fame with a score of, I believe, anyway, 10.5. Yeah, they're into our, I believe, yeah. So 7, 12, 15.5. Yeah, they're into our Hall of Fame. Congratulations. You've just about getting into our Hall of Fame, but congratulations, well done. So, what did he give Elysion? 5!
Yeah!
5! Elysion!
Wow.
I'm the only one who didn't, you know?
I know. That's unheard of. 4 5s. 4.
Amazing.
It's unheard of. It's 23.5. It is our highest ever rated album. It tops our Hall of Fame. Guys, check it out. It is a phenomenally good rock album. And out of nowhere, Greece, they've not been anywhere, have come through with a rock band to top our charts. Congratulations to Elysion. What a fabulous album. Again, I found it. If you want to check out Hall of Fame, check the text on YouTube. It'll all be on there. And what our top albums of the year, certainly both of them will be potentially going forward to our shortlist for album of the year. So congratulations to them. Wow, what a finish. Super exciting. That's why we do this show.
Wow.
But anyway, well done to both albums. Great albums. Thank you very, very much. Thank you also to my crew, to Paul, to Trish, to Dave. Thank you guys. And thank you very much to Ian. And again, our thoughts go with you and your family. And and please like and subscribe our channel. Please keep listening and see if we can get over to 1,000 views. That would be amazing. And keep on rocking. Thanks to everybody. Goodbye and good luck.